Good evening and happy Memorial Day. We are here with you on a special Monday edition of the Opening Kick. As Smoke gave you a little hat tip. If you were on the barbecue grill, if you're with family on this evening, we want to say thank you. And more importantly, we want to thank all of the veterans that have served this fine country that give us the freedom we have on this day to be hooligans, to cook out, to grill, be with our family, drink a beer, do a show, talk a little sports. We thank you from the bottom of our heart to all the veterans that served on this day. Spend some time with your family, get a little love. Bob, Roll Tide Roll. 5 Adam, Roll Tide Roll. We're going to give a little love out of the gate to the title towel. Go to WinWorldSports.com today. One of our sponsors keeps us going here at the Bama Standard. Tell them promo code the Standard, get 20% off your title towel. But again, we're here with you on this Memorial Day. I got my man Smoke Dixon. What is up, good sir?
What's happening?
Not much. You got anything on the grill today?
Nah, I went by a neighbor's house. The only thing that I have is good conversation.
Let's do it. Let's do it. We got some. I'm going to gripe a little bit. I'm going to gripe about some Bama guys.
Shocker.
I think Bama's baseball team might have gotten screwed here in this recent hours. We're going to talk about that, and I think that might fly right into our next topic that I'm sure everybody has been paying attention to over the weekend. The 16-team playoff seems on the horizon. What does that mean for the SEC? What does that mean for your Crimson Tide? What does that mean for any team that you cheer for coming up in these college football season? And finally, I know you fans love it. We're going to talk a little bit of NBA. We are going to. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but the Oklahoma City Thunder, one of the best ran organizations in sports. They lose. I mean, when they lost Westbrook, they lost Slim Reaper to Golden State. You'd think
and James, you don't forget James Harden was a part of that.
James Harden was the first one going out of that group. I mean, just lost, and you're like, man, a group like Oklahoma City is never going to recover. And man, that's an organization that knows how to work the draft. Do you know who Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is? Smoke's going to tell you about it. But look, tune in, hit that like and subscribe. If you're on Twitter X, come on over to the Bama Standard on YouTube. Give us some love so you can tune into all the shows. We got one of my man Smoke's former classmates coming on with us tomorrow night, so you're not going to want to miss that. So hit that like and subscribe. We'll tell you a little more. Stay with us on who that may be coming tomorrow. But Smoke, like I said, Memorial Day. Thank you, veterans.
Now, Petty, what is Memorial Day without a little bit of baseball?
Dude,
without Memorial Day baseball, something on the grill. Basketball is coming to winding down to an end, but baseball is just beginning.
Baseball's just getting going.
It's just taking off. But we talked yesterday, and I caught you in one of your heaters.
I was pissed.
Yeah, you were pissed. I mean, pissed to you is like laughing, but I know when you're pissed.
Yeah.
And you kept on griping about Bama not being able to host one of the regional games. Petty, how did we get here, man?
Well, look, man. Yeah, baseball is the king of participation trophies, and I don't know how the hell we get to the college ranks and doing it, but it's happening right now. For those who don't pay attention to college baseball, the SEC, much like basketball and football, is kind of the king of it all, even more so because, unfortunately, the Big Ten doesn't get to play a lot. They don't even argue with us. They know they don't do baseball up.
Weather permitting, can't do it right.
So, look, the SEC rules the day, and I know Bama doesn't get much love, on the diamond that the football team and now the basketball team under Nate Oates or even Patrick Murphy's softball program that's been so good for so many years. But your guy, we got a coach that started out in Auburn, went up to Maryland. Coach Vaughn has turned the Bama baseball program around in 2 years. They've now got, if you've heard me talk about him on the show, Justin LeBron, the #1 prospect for the 2026. But my gripe is this Bama team is going to be the highest RPI SEC program in history to not garner a host spot for a regional. And it's kind of bullshit. And we're losing sight of what's happening in sports and keeping some things the same while others change. And it's going to end up hurting programs like Alabama, which is insane to me that a program the size of Alabama could be the fallout of this. But when you add programs like Texas and Oklahoma to your conference, and we're seeing this in football, this is going to parlay into our football talk, the 16-team playoff, and why that may be changing because SEC was pissed. when you add programs that were getting host spots when they were in their other conferences, this goes for the Big Ten too, Oregon, USC, programs that usually fight for NCAA playoff berths in football or whatever, and then you keep the same number of entrants or spots that conference can get, then you're really screwing some other programs that have probably earned spots, and Alabama is that program right now. Alabama is number 13 in the RPI, one spot behind Ole Miss, who's the 10th seed and hosting. And they did enough throughout the season to earn a regional spot, but somehow we get to the postseason, and you're watching the SEC tournament, and SEC commentators are stumping for Southern Miss, Georgia Tech, whose RPIs are in the 20s. But it's this inclusion. Everybody gets a trophy, and they're like, hey, Southern Miss has won 16 in a row. We got to give them a regional. And sure enough, all the politicking worked. Bama's a 13 RPI. They ran through the best conference in the country and played week in and week in out with them. And now they're getting screwed. They get to go to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Southern Mississippi's a host as a ninth. Now they moved up to 19 to kind of pretty it up. RPI, which isn't in the top 16. I know I'm rambling, but I can't wrap my mind around how we've gotten into college, the participation trophy stuff, where a program like Southern Miss can, again, I guess it's because their AD is on the committee that picks this. Maybe that.
All right, hold, Pettey. Now you're going to this type of conspiracy theory.
But my problem is Alabama did enough throughout the season, and I don't understand how they get snubbed when they did everything
to you.
There.
We always got to keep it in perspective to you. I think Bama did enough to you. I think the people that are making this decision felt like they didn't do enough. But my question to you, I'm a Bama guy, but why is it so important that you get to host? Be one of the hosts.
Well, and I'll tell you, and that's a great question. And look, it's about money.
Now we're getting to the bottom of it.
It's about money, because when you get to host, it's not about what you've earned throughout. It is about what you've earned, but then when you earn that, you're bringing in 3 other colleges. You would be bringing in Miami. You would have been bringing in Southern, because Alabama's going to Hattiesburg. Hattiesburg would have been coming here, which is a pretty close trip, and they actually travel well for baseball. So that's 3 other universities, fans, families, whatever, that are coming into your hotels for a full weekend, going to eat at your restaurants. That's bringing in commerce to your city. That's bringing, an eye to a sport that you're trying to build. Your coach has worked his ass off. They've earned this, and you don't even get the recognition of what you earn. That makes it harder for you to keep coaches when they say, well, shit, if this team ain't going to get the respect, I'm going to go to a program that gets it. Southern Miss is getting more respect than we are. But more than anything, it's the financial. You've earned that spot. You've got a weekend of filling up your hotels, filling up your restaurants, having the spotlight of the sport on your university at your stadium for that weekend. It's just, again, I don't get it. And if you're looking at finances, NCAA, that's why I don't get why you put it in Hattiesburg, Mississippi over Alabama. If it's about money, Alabama's got a bigger stadium. They've got more hotels than Hattiesburg. I'm assuming they got more restaurants. Now, I will say some small towns in Mississippi got some low-key dangerous restaurants that can do you right. But
give them props when it's due now.
Give them their props when it's due. But it just, again, we're fighting this participation trophy world, and that's just what we did. And ironically, we did it with Alabama being catching the brunt, the fallout of it, and Southern Miss of all schools just don't make sense. Alabama earned it. So who you blaming for this? Just to get your vent out, because I wanted you to get this all out of your system until we got to NBA basketball. Well, first of all, I blame the fact that Bama hasn't put up more of a fight for a presence in NCAA baseball. I know it's a niche sport, and at times there's only a certain amount of schools that care, but most of them in the Southeastern do. You got Southern Mississippi. I said it. I let it out. Their AD is on the committee to select this. You telling me he don't have some kind of sway on who gets picked when a school that's in a smaller conference, smaller fan base, smaller budget, you all about money. It's all smaller, and then they don't even have the same resume as this team, and you pick them. Again, it don't make no damn sense.
Hey, with all that said, now you got it out. So if you're over on X, come on over, hit that subscribe button, because this is one of the best, if not the best, podcasts that you're going to check in on any Monday to get the opening kickoff. So you got the opening kickoff with the baseball. You done kicked everybody in the butt in the Southeast because you're venting about your Bama and your boy Lebron trying to get
I wanted to see him in Sewell Thomas. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little chapped about that.
You're a little bit chapped. You're a little bit. You got a little bit of red tail. You're upset. But I've seen you had a couple. You got a cold one on hand, and you've got it out.
Well, and I think this was a good primer. And I know I'm a baseball guy. Not everybody's a baseball guy, but this does parlay into the football stuff. I mean, look, the SEC got bigger and stronger when they added Texas and Oklahoma, not just in football, but in every sport. And then we saw it in football this year. We were fighting. Everybody thought everything was hunky-dory. Then the playoffs got here and the SEC looked around and said, holy shit, wait, we got some teams that probably should be in this, but aren't because of schedule and
I disagree with that.
We got to figure out how, like, no, when you add Texas, who would have been in the Big 12, who would have gotten that spot, that wouldn't have taken it from an SEC school. Now they're taking it from an SEC school that might have gotten in any. You've got to expand the spots for those conferences. Same with the Big 10. When you add Oregon, when you add USC, you can't all of a sudden drop. You're going to end up dropping a third or a fourth off that would have normally been in there from that conference. When your conferences grow, so does your inclusion into these tournaments.
And you're talking about the football side of it.
Now we're getting into the football side of it. We are in June in the next meeting. They are going into discussions to the 16-team playoff.
All right, so Pettey, this is where smoke stands now. I stand up, 10 toes down. I am a big believer in the cream is always going to rise to the top. And once you start talking about 16 teams or whatever number that you get to past 4, I thought 4 was perfect. If you would have done the best 2 and let them play the national championship game, I'm okay with that too. Because the premise behind college football and what separated college football from every other sport was the ability to go undefeated in the regular season. Every single week meant something. So as a fan and as a former player, and he's a former coach, you had to be on top of your game, meaning there was no weeks off. Once you start adding 16 and you say, you know what, you're prompting to having 4 teams get elected or get that 4 slots to the playoffs, you're devaluing the regular season. And you just talked about participation trophies. That's a participation award because you're not going into it in the SEC. Like we talked about winning our state. That means beating down the boys down the road. Then you wanted to win the state of Mississippi. That's beating Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Then you wanted, if you had to play against Vanderbilt, conquer Tennessee. And that would put you in conversation of being the best in the SEC. If you won the SEC and played in Atlanta, which is a prestigious award and an opportunity to go out on a Saturday and showcase your talent, and you knew that there was only 2 or 3 games that's going to be played, probably the Army-Navy game, if that's the same weekend. And back then you had the Big 12 championship and you had the SEC championship. That was during my time. But during conference championship weekends, like that was a platform for you to showcase your talent. And when I played, I wanted to play on those weekends because nobody else was. So now you're looking at it and saying, well, the 16 teams, this conference has 4 slots. Like all I have to play for now and all I have to coach for is 4th position. Because all I want to do is just get into the dance. If I get into the dance, I have the same opportunities as everybody else. I think that waters down college football and it devalues the regular season. It devalues conference championships. It devalues rivalry games that means a lot to the people within that state. Like a lot of people outside the state of Alabama could care less about the Iron Bowl. Could care less. It's not that big of a rival outside of the state of Alabama. But if you make that game like less meaningful for the players and the state, like you're gonna have a lot of guys opt out. You're gonna have coaches say, don't worry about that. If we win, we win. If we don't, we don't. All I'm trying to do is get to the playoffs.
I don't know, Smoke.
I'm telling you might say that don't matter, but I'm telling you,
it values the season as much.
Hell yeah, it does.
I think you're right. They could have had it right at 4. They could have had it right at. I don't think the number's right. I think the way you get to who you put in there is where they effed up all along. Now,
Teddy,
look,
if you're saying
you say it devalues the season, the Oklahoma game was a de facto playoff game. If Bama won it, they were in it. If they lost it, they were out. So that game had value. The Ole Miss game in the Swamp had, if they beat Florida, they're in the playoffs. That game cost.
Yeah, but we're talking about one game. We're not talking about every game.
A playoff game. Did it
this,
not?
This is a game after you lost to Tennessee for Bama. You lost to Vanderbilt.
But
now you got to come down and you're talking about a third L, and you still had an opportunity to get into the playoffs. I'm just telling you that what separated college football from every other sport was the regular season. If the regular season does not count as much as it used to, I don't see players caring as much. I don't see the process of winning for coaches being heightened. And you're not going to see the best coaches coach their best weeks of football, or the players are willing to play the best brand of football, just because if you lose 2, it's okay.
Well,
all I got to do is finish top 4. And Bama gets in last year if they go 9-3.
Aha. And there's the fix to that. And that's where we keep effing this up. We keep expanding, but then the SEC says, well, I want 4. The Big Ten says, I want 4. And the ACC's got to get there too. And the Pac-12's got to get there. No, you don't get shit unless, if you're going to do 16, it's 1 through 16, and that's your seeds. And if the SEC only had one top 16 team that year, and it was a year where they ate themselves, well, guess what? You get 1 team, SEC. But if you got 7 in there, you get 7. But when we have to fight to put Boise in there, and then they get their asses in there and get embarrassed, and you're like, well, this was a participation game. This game meant nothing. If you're going to look, I get it. If you want to keep it 4, keep it 4. But again, don't have to have a conference champion in there just to shove their ass in there, because the ACC's got to get their conference. Because when you got 4, then you get a Big Ten, an ACC, an SEC, and a Big Ten. Guess what? One of those is going to suck royal ass, and you probably should have had 2 Big Tens or 2 SECs. So quit with the automatic bid crap. If you're going to keep, because here's what they're talking about, Smoke. They're talking about the Big Ten and the SEC would say championship weekend would go away, and you would have the 3 play the 6 in the league, and the 4 play the 5, and whoever wins that gets to be number 3 and 4 in the new 4-team thing. And what they're talking about, instead of giving the first 8 games buys and letting everybody play to the next weekend, letting 14 play 16 in the first 2, just every time they try to fix it, and they're like, okay, well, this makes sense. You realized it was wrong. Let's fix it. Well, they don't fix it to where they fix it to where it has to be fixed again. It's real simple.
You're not fixing it by adding more.
No, not necessarily.
You're watering down the product by creating more slots.
I agree with that.
I
agree with that.
If you say the top 25 teams in the nation, right, and you're picking 16 out of the top 25, you know how to do math, right? That's 9 out. Like so the worst 9 teams out of the top 25 are out of the playoffs. So you're telling me I got to watch 1 versus 16 or whatever round that you want to go? It's unwatchable. Listen, it's unwatchable. I like watching.
Top 8 get a bye, and then you let the
yeah. It's I'm just telling you that if you want to watch SMU play Boise, good luck.
But I'd rather a 1 versus 16 versus a 1 versus, oh, well, we put Boise in because they won their conference when they're not even in the top 25.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you that's have fun. I'm not watching it.
Well, I mean, it's expanding a little bit.
You can watch it.
Coming.
I'm not.
It's just on the
wake me up when you get to the last 2. Because I can probably tell you you and I could have sat down last year and said, okay, give me the final 4 teams. And you would have picked 3 out of the 4. And it wouldn't have been hard.
Yes, tough as nails. Regardless of what happens, Notre Dame gets an automatic bid every year.
Yeah, I mean, put them in. It's going to happen this is the first time they've actually woke up and played well.
That's the problem. I like making fun of Notre Dame, but this is the first, and I've said it several times, like,
they deserve it.
We made fun of them because they've been lighting the britches the last few years when they get and play they weren't lighting the britches this year.
No,
that was a real damn football team.
No doubt about it. I think that Coach Freeman's done an outstanding job the last few years, but again, if you're Notre Dame, you go 11-1, 12-0. Like, bro, I'm good. Like, I don't play. I mean, you play Clemson, lose a game in Clemson, so what? All right, next. Yeah. You're still in it.
Well, and I think this maybe kind of points to Ephraim's point. How about forcing teams to schedule better non-cons than add more slots?
That ain't gonna happen either, because you have so many teams in your conference. Like the SEC does not need to go outside of their conference to have a good game. Neither does the Big Ten. Big 12 does, but neither the two power conference don't have to.
But what about dropping the Georgia States of the world and that?
So you're going to penalize those teams, and again, regardless of the teams that you take away Georgia State and put in a team, name it, put it in. Arkansas. If I am 10-0 going into my last two games of the season, and I don't have to play those other teams, and I don't have to win those games, and I'm automatically in, like, you as a fan, Ephraim, you're struggling. Like, you're not going to see that game. I'm not playing my best players. I'm going to treat it just like the NFL, sit out my starters for those last two games, or play them a quarter. That might be the only game that you can truly afford or get tickets to, and you're going to go see a good spring game. So as much as you guys are screaming about 16-team playoffs and having your team get an opportunity, you aren't going to see the essence of college football being played at its height, because no one cares anymore once they get that automatic bid there at the back end of their season. They're going to start load management, and the same reason why most are pissed off at the NBA, you're going to be pissed off at college football.
And that's why I think automatic bids are horseshit, because what if you do this automatic bid thing? You got your 4 SEC and your 4 Big Ten. What if that 4th SEC and that 4th Big Ten on that year happen to be ranked 26th, 27th? Why are they getting that automatic bid? Because they're in the league.
Just because I don't have to play.
Take away the automatic bid, and you fix then the season becomes a playoff.
I think if you take away the automatic bids, it still does not matter. You take away the automatic bids, you can't tell me that Georgia, Alabama, Texas, and pick another one, and now the SEC, they're going to get in. You go in the Big Ten, Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, automatics. Michigan, there you go. Next. Right? I mean, what year is that not going to happen? Maybe once out of every 10 years, that's not going to happen. So irregardless of your automatic bid, the class in college football is still the class. Mm-hmm. You're just not going to see those guys that's the class having to play at the highest level, because they don't have to. Because you set this up for me. All I have to do is get to the playoffs. Once I get to the playoffs, I got to make sure that my team's healthy. If I don't have to play my team against Penn State and Michigan the last 2 games of the season, what the hell do I care about if they're not ranked? If I go undefeated against them anyway? Ohio State loses to Michigan, so what? Unless you are involved in that rival, okay. Coach Day's going to say, well, Michigan kicked my butt last year. Still won the national championship. Still won it. Didn't have to go undefeated. Didn't have to apply pressure. I can have all of my team sit out the last 2 games. Games that you want to see, Pettey. We ain't playing. And if I am one of the top players, and within my contract it says I have 13 games that I have to play, yeah, coach, you're going to have to pick out those 13, because I just don't feel like playing that meaningless game against, let's say, Akron. What's my purpose of playing against Akron, coach? None. But you showing up to the game, it's the only ticket I got. Oh, the players aren't playing again. They're screwing me out of watching a good game. I'm not screwing you out of anything. I'm only telling you how the game's getting played just because you guys laid it out.
That's what they need to go to 16, shorten the regular season, and don't play the non-con. I mean, because you're taxing these fans enough. What they're saying, they don't want to pay the same amount to come watch you play Georgia State as they're paying to come.
Yeah, you ain't gonna be able to afford that daggone playoff game either. So what game are you gonna watch?
None. No fans about to be. Look, the common fan is going to struggle to get to most of them these days. I can go ahead and tell you that. That's happening right now. They're pricing.
Was a common fan having an issue when the committee was picking the best 4 teams?
I mean, I don't think the prices were where they were then. So.
No, everyone was the conversation was about, oh, the 5th place team's out. Yeah, if you're taking the 16, number 17 is going to be crying. You take it to 14, 15 is going to be crying. If you go to 12, 13 is going to be crying. If you go to 4, 5 is going to be crying. So it's just a product of what can you handle?
Well, You better be ready to handle it because the 16's coming. I just hope they don't. They're not going to get it right. I don't expect them to get anything right.
They'll get it right, but you're going to suffer. You're the common fan. You're going to suffer.
Here you go.
Because you want, my team's going to have a chance. The 16th ranked team ain't winning it. Ain't winning it. Boise wasn't going to win it last year. SMU ain't winning it. Ain't going to happen. And if they do it once every 10 years,
they really
you guys have, what do you guys call it? Cinderella?
Yeah.
Yeah, the longer the season goes, the worse the Cinderella teams have a chance of winning. The more you open up this thing to 16 teams, the lesser teams aren't going to win. You know why? It's called a battle of attrition. The better teams have better players. And my better players can outlast your average players over a long period of time. So the longer the season, the better the team, the better teams are going to win. So
I'll say this though, to just one devil's advocate on that.
Play it.
Portal era where you can't amass the depth that you once did. The 16 has a better shot than they once did. But I do agree with you, Smoke.
Petty, you can't listen. The number 16 team can't afford the same amount of players that the number 3, 4, 5 team can afford.
They got a better shot at picking them off than they used to, though.
No, they how? If I'm at Alabama and I'm paying you $1 million and you want to go to the number 16 team and you're going to get paid $150,000, where are you going? Where you going? You're going to Bama. So again, it is much. You aren't getting better by creating more. You're getting worse by creating more teams.
They want TV revenue.
The only people that's going to have a good time with it is amount of games that's being played on TV. TV's going to have fun. The same thing's going to happen over and over again. Sign me up for Bama, Penn State, Ohio State, Texas, Georgia, Clemson. Next.
Well, that's it. That's who you can take your gripe to, the TV people, because that's what's driving this. But speaking of driving, let's drive on into the NBA where they do have their shit together when it comes. They know what their playoff format is. It's been the same since we were watching the Celtics take on the Lakers, the Bulls take on whoever, the Sonics, whoever the hell, the Jazz, whoever.
That was unwatchable too.
That wasn't unwatchable. You know why? We didn't have shit else to watch, so we watched the Smoke. So we watched it. It wasn't unwatchable. We had to watch it because that's all we had. That's why we all knew about it back then. But speaking of, man, I do think that this era is a little bit disconnected. I think maybe people caught back on a little bit in the Steph Curry Golden State against LeBron saga that was actually pretty damn good for 5 or 6 years. They went back and forth and had war, and then that kind of fizzled out. But, man, there's some young stars in the NBA right now. And we talked about them earlier. The Oklahoma City Thunder, at one time, man, the home of James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Slim Reaper. And then all those guys left. And you're like, man, this small market, that's probably the last we saw Oklahoma City. And they've slowly built back up. And I don't know if people have paid attention until this recent playoff run, but say Gilgeous-Alexander. Tell me a little bit about this kid. Is he the best unknown star in sports right now, Smoke?
You know what? I'm going to say he's the quietest superstar that's done it. You have to be a really NBA fan to understand how talented he is. He's not a super dynamic athlete. He's skilled. His game is just perfect for what this generation of players are playing like. The game is opened up for him. He has a mid-range. He has 3-point. He can go to the rack. He's bigger than what you think. He's smoother than what you think, and he's more skilled than what you think. And he's a team first type of guy. And the way that OKC's front office has built this team, they built the team that's complementary to him. You don't have another player that's fighting for the ball with him. They understand that he's the guy, and wherever that team goes, he goes along with them. But he is a complementary piece. Superstar. He's one of the best complimentary superstars that I've seen in a long time.
I mean, when you look at his scoring average right now, it's up there with all the time. I mean, you averaging 32 a game. You're doing it, man. The kid, and again, he's from Kentucky. It seems like a name you'd be known, but he's not in one of the major markets like New York or Golden State or LA with the Lakers. He's out at OKC, and then you turn on the playoffs, and he's the best player in the playoffs. And that's my question.
And just the thing is, he's just not loud. Right. And what I mean by loud is he's not the guy that's yelling. He's not doing crazy dunks. He's not shooting from the logo like Steph. He's not the super athlete that Anthony Edwards is. You're not going to hear him speak out of term or speak against something. He's just a quiet superstar that's game is so efficient. His game is more loud than really who he is.
I think you nailed it on him. Can they be beat? And I think there's a lot of players like that. We're going to get to another one on a team. I'm going to ask, can they beat them? But they've got, they're in a fight right now with the Mavericks. T-Wolves, not the Mavericks. They're up 2-1. I mean, the last game they got blown out, but the first two weren't close. Can this team? I mean, I don't know. Again, I don't know. People have been watching NBA, so y'all might not know the answer to this. So it may be pointless that we're talking about this anyway. But can they be beat? I don't know. They're pretty damn.
They've
good.
been the best team in basketball this year. Last year they were close second, but again they got eliminated due to the fact they're just young. Mm-hmm. And I think them having the understanding how to play basketball at a high level and going through that adversity last year has catapulted them into understanding who they are right now in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So they're my favorites to win it. The Timberwolves won the other night. It's hard to win 3 games in a row in the NBA. I mean, they're good, but they're not that truly dominant. I think they do it in 5. 6 would be the optimum number. But the way that they're playing, the depth that they have, the defense that they play, the role players are playing at a high speed. Their head coach is pretty good. I just don't see, say, Gilgeous-Alexander having 2 off nights and that team having 2 off nights in a row for Minnesota to make this a series.
I got you. And look, tough as nails. I know NBA ratings, you're saying they're tanking, but man, if you would have watched the end of that New York, was it Saturday night, New York, the Pacers game, Indiana Pacers game, Tyrese Halliburton, that might have been some of the best theater in sports in a long time.
Yeah, but tough as nails ain't far off now, Pettey.
No, the numbers
he ain't far off. I'm speaking of the way that SGA's playing with Oklahoma City. But again,
nobody knew it.
I love basketball. I watch it simulcast just to get through the commercials. But I'm not waiting up watching these games. Like the Indiana Pacers, New York Knicks series, both teams have been up 20 points. And the teams come back and win.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say that's entertaining, but I tell you all the time, like I don't like watching anything average. Average and my name don't go together. And they're good players right now, but there aren't mega stars. This is like once LeBron leaves, you're going to have to start fighting to see who's the next face of the NBA. It's not going to be SGA because he's not American. It's not going to be Anthony Edwards because Anthony does not play. He doesn't play enough meaningful basketball minutes and possessions for me. He's super talented and he should be, but he just doesn't care enough to be that guy. So if you don't care, I don't care. And whatever you're putting out there, I'm going to take in. And he's not trying to take the NBA by his horn to say, I got it, and I'm going to run with it. He's resisting it just because he does not want to have the pressure that comes with it. Like pressure of being the face of the NBA, meaning you have to be consistently on your game, on and off the court. And I don't believe there's a player right now that wants that much pressure. And it's no difference from when Mike walked away from the game and went to go play baseball. You had Shaq come in, but he's a big man. You got to get somebody to give him the ball. Then you had Sean Kemp, and it's like, that's when the Supersonics jumped in. Then you had Akeem Olajuwon and the Rockets, but he wasn't marketable. The New York Knicks was playing bully and dirty basketball. It just sucked to the point that MJ had to come back to say, okay, I'll come back out of retirement and help you guys out one more time. And then the league lucked up and had this bright star in LA named Kobe Bryant come in and say, okay, I'm clean enough. I understand it and I can do it. They tried to do it with Steve Nash and give it to Nash, but he wasn't good enough. And he wasn't American. He couldn't dunk. Like you got to be able to dunk basketball.
Man, it's funny you say that, Smoke. The NBA's in a crisis where they're got LeBron's older, Curry's getting old. Like these guys.
Curry's never the face of the NBA.
He wasn't, but he was when they were beating.
He fit in with your regular people. He fit in. If you can shoot, he can be Curry.
No, there was an era where him and LeBron were sharing that pedestal, man. Curry had his moment in the sun where he was the face. I disagree with that a little bit.
Like, okay, so when the Golden State Warriors went 73-9, yeah, that's when he was on top, right?
Yeah.
You remember a guy came back 3-1, first time in NBA history, to bust him up in Game 7? Yeah, that was LeBron. So you can't be the face.
Doesn't matter. He was one of the most famous, known.
Not going to disagree with you.
Planet.
Not going to disagree with you, but he wasn't the face of the NBA.
Well, look, LeBron's been the face since he's been. That's like saying somebody's face, but to say he wasn't in that pedestal next to, he kept it up. It wasn't LeBron holding it on his own.
Yeah, it was.
People weren't just watching LeBron beat the shit out of nobodies.
Yeah, it was. It was LeBron. It was LeBron.
I don't. LeBron wouldn't have brought me back into it. Curry brought me back into it.
Yeah, because again, I said it. You like watching average guys do above average things. I like watching players that are generational like talent that can do things that I could never dream of doing. That's why I watch the game. I don't like watching the game to see light behavior. If you can shoot, learn how to shoot, yeah, you can be Curry.
That's the difference. So Curry was a guy like me doing something that nobody on the planet could do. Nobody could shoot like Curry. Nobody.
I agree, but I mean,
like Curry. And he's a dude that, hey man, that. But I don't know, man. But
hey man, why do you watch basketball? Do you watch basketball for shooting or watch basketball for people that dunk?
Shooting.
Gotcha. Well, so you'd rather watch the 3-point?
No, I don't. You hold on. I answered that too quick. I'll watch it. I like. To be honest, I like.
I'm asking.
Rhythm to basketball. I like it to be a smooth. I like the passing to be good. Like I like to.
You like plays being ran and sets and all that. Yeah, go watch. You can watch WNBA
I ain't
for that.
Watching the fucking WNBA.
You can watch a good college basketball game for that. You can go watch everybody down at the church league run plays. I like seeing rare athletes play above the rim with freakishly athletic plays, getting to the rack, splitting two, jumping over two, and putting it on somebody's head.
But
if I can't see that, yeah, I can watch a church league.
But I think that's your point, Smoke. Ain't nobody seeing it right now. And now, regardless of what you want to say, Steph Curry is fading out. LeBron is fading out. And guess who's taking Luke? I'm not tuning in to watch Luka Doncic. I know that he's
Luka is talented, but again,
are you turning in to watch him?
I would watch Luka. Yes, I'd watch Luka instead of any of these guys.
I don't want to watch.
Luka's fun. I mean, Steph is fun, but again, I'm not rushing home to watch Luka or Steph play.
Well, that's it. I'm not watching home to watch NBA anymore. So what can bring? I mean, they need a face. Is that the deal?
Listen, they got one guy right now. To me, if Anthony Edwards took basketball as serious as he took being a funny guy or being a cool guy, easily be the face of the league. Like whatever you're looking for, he got it. He is what you're looking for to be the next one.
Yeah.
It ain't Tatum. He's too nice. Too nice. It ain't Brunson. He can't dunk. Right? Wembanyama, like he's gonna do some freakishly athletic things, but again, he's not American. So like the Joker is super talented, but he don't play above the rim. It's boring.
Oh,
like a guy that we never talk about is Tim Duncan. Why?
Because that was the Spurs. Tony Parker. The whole thing was like that.
Ephraim, Smoke, you like team sports or individual sports like tennis and swimming? I am a team person, and I like team sports, but I like seeing team sports with a rare talent playing on that team to make that team like a mega team. That's the beauty of it.
I think that's a great segue into our. Dadgummit, I keep trying to start this one. Our question, and someone said hockey. Look, I'll be honest, and this is one I'll admit that I wish I was more into, especially here in Tampa. They got the Lightning is badass. I've heard from enough people. Maybe you can get Smoke. You're in the talk show stratosphere. I've talked to people. We had one on the show, Neil McCready. He's covered a Super Bowl. He's covered a college football national championship, college basketball national championship, and baseball. And he says it's not even a debate. The most electric atmosphere he's ever been in was a playoff hockey match.
Playoff hockey is fantastic. I've been a part of it when I was up in Canada with the Edmonton Eskimos when the Edmonton Oilers was rolling back in 2005. And I want to say they lost to the Hurricanes. Mm-hmm. Electric atmosphere. But again, I think any sport, once you get to good, great on great, that's when you're going to see the intensity like jump up a level. Like playoff football, there's no other. Playoff and championship basketball, when it's possession by possession, that's when you start seeing the best of the best show up. Like you have, like there's only so many possessions in football, so many possessions in basketball. Just like pitching and hitting in baseball, once you get to the World Series and league play. You see the best guys throwing their best stuff and they're taking their best at bats. So again, in hockey, the intensity ramps up, and I won't ever put down football in comparables to hockey, but I think they're all the same once you get to that point of
that level,
championship or go home.
Yeah.
That's when you see the rare athletes at their best, and their peak performance is like no other. That's why I love watching. That's why I used to love watching college football. Because that's the way that we've always approached the game. Like if we lose a game, the season's over. So the intensity and the focus was always at the peak. But now when you bring it down and you have 17, 18, 19-year-olds that truly don't know how to play the game, and now you're trying to have them compete like they're professionals, that's when the thing gets screwed up, and you're going to start blaming the players for not caring anymore. But again, it's not the young people that's creating the problem. It's the adults that's creating the problems that the kids are going to play by. And when they're playing the game the way that the game was set up, and they're playing it the way that they want to, we're all going to be pissed off. Oh, they don't even care anymore. Why? You're telling me I don't have to care. So if you're saying it, I don't care. Just give my money and get out the way. We got some good questions.
We do. And before we get to them, though, you know who does care? Our sponsors care, Smoke. They care enough to keep the lights on. We're going to give a little love, first of all, to those sponsors.
You got it right side up, so I'm going to get mine right side up.
I got it right side up out of the gate.
Yeah, you do. You do, good brother.
WhitWillSports.com. Give Title Towel love today. Tell them promo code standard at WhitWillSports.com after the show, of course, and get your Title Towel today. Like I said, give them the promo code the standard, receive 20% off, and have that Title Towel on hand because, guys, it was 100 this week, so we're less than 100 days away from Alabama football. Get that Title Towel on hand. I know Smoke get excited for that one. Also, Lambstone Company, realrockstone.com. If you're building that beautiful dream home and you've always wanted that natural castle look.
I want it, Pettey. I want it.
Now's the time. Go to realrockstone.com. Again, of course, after the show. Lambstone Company, located in beautiful Aniana, Alabama, one of the oldest sources in the state. O-Town, one of the oldest, most trusted sources in the state. Tell them we sent you using the promo code the Bama Standard and get 10% off your stone purchase today. But let's get to some questions. First of all, I want to say we've got a great crowd tonight, better than I actually expected on this Memorial Day. I want to say thank you. Again, I want to say thank you to the men and women that have served to give us this give us the ability to do this on this Monday night. If it weren't for you guys, we don't get to do things like this in this country. And so we appreciate you. We salute you. Have a cocktail, have a burger, and relax on this day. And let's hit some questions, answers, and get you out of here.
Let's do it.
What we got? Tough as nails. Why does baseball have a player that is not in fair territory? Is this a joke? I'm trying to
next one. Keep going.
All right, I don't know.
Yeah, skip that one. Ha ha ha. Gotcha.
Will we see another undefeated season? Ooh.
Yeah, you will, but it don't matter. You don't get any. There's no prize for going undefeated. So why? Doesn't matter. What are you're going to get the same thing as a team just lost 2 games.
That's
home field advantage for one game.
If there's the automatic bids and you got a team that's 10-0. You're down to the 11th game in Texas playing Texas A&M. But guess what matters now more is that 5-game run into the playoffs, and you're like, I'm going to bench.
Yeah, tell Oregon that.
Game.
Oregon had to play Ohio State in the second round. Yeah, no advantage.
So you may be benching Arch and not getting him for that A&M game. You might get what Smoke's talking about there.
No benefit. You
may get we'll get another undefeated.
No benefit. Ain't no benefit.
It'll happen.
I think it will, but there's no benefit towards it. So why?
We got more, Justin?
Yeah, we got a few. We had an Ashton Genty question about,
is Lincoln Riley an overrated head coach, Tan? I'll let you take that one.
Okay. I don't think he's overrated. I think he's rated as what he is. I think most coaches are more average and above average, just like players, and the average ones sit in the same category for a long period of time. I mean, Pettey, can you name the last 10 teams that won? Name the last 10 champions in college football.
What was Ohio State? And then was it Michigan?
Bama, Georgia, Ohio State.
Georgia, and then a bunch of Georgias and Bamas.
Yeah, but it's the same guy in Clemson. So all I'm saying is this. There's only a few championship coaches out there. Unless you're a championship coach and you're coaching at one of those schools, am I ever going to put a rating on you? I think Lincoln is what he is. You put him in a good program with good players and good resources, he's going to get you what he got at Oklahoma in terms of getting into the playoffs, but he's not going to bring you one home. That's where I stand with it.
Well, let me ask it like this. Maybe let's get a different spin on this question. Do you think USC got what they were wanting out of Lincoln Riley, or is he underachieved to what their expectations were?
I mean, when you're at Southern Cal, you're thinking of what Pete Carroll did. But before Pete Carroll was John Robinson. So you're skipping at least a decade before you start talking about national championship. So old SC, yes. You take away Pete Carroll and Coach Robinson, like other than that, I mean,
not much of a program, really.
Yeah, I mean the name sounds good, but the actual
history don't really.
Yeah, it's more like name recognition than actual what you're supposed to get out of it. It's just like
that video. It's kind of like that video they like to show when they played Bama, where they came out all pumped up, barking and crawling and all that stuff, and then the final score.
Yeah, you saw how that ended. A whole lot of bluffing.
I think that's the
You know what? My man Robert Woods paid me out real good after that game. Shout out to my man Woody.
How's that?
Oh, him and Nikel Roby. All those. How did that work out for me?
Oh, they all believed the bark coming out of.
It was great casino money.
Right, we got more. I think we had a Genty question or something. We got more up there. What's going on?
Yes, you should have met us.
Who was the best coach at Florida? Meyer, Spurrier. Ooh, this is a good question.
Ooh. Better coach. So you're asking me if I'm a general manager, who would I hire? I am going to hire. If I'm hiring, I would take Urban Meyer in this current landscape. I don't think there's a better coach that if your program just needs a shot of adrenaline and Red Bull for about a 4 to 5 year run, Urban Meyer is the best at it in college football. A 4 to 5 year run, there ain't no other like Urban. You give Urban Meyer right now Penn State's team, a Penn State program for 4 years, you'll have 2 national championships, period. But after the 5th or 6th year, you're going to go through a whirl of hell. It's coming right down. Sustainability ain't there. So if you're just looking for a coach that gives you a shot of Red Bull in a 4 to 5 year process of winning 2 national championships, yeah, ain't nobody going to do it like Urban. Track record says that. Florida, maybe one of the greatest runs in a 4 to 5 year span. Go to Ohio State, did the same thing too. Bring them in here collegiate. We ain't talking NFL.
Yeah. This is a tough one on me because look, man, Spurrier won an ACC title at Duke. Like he took crappy teams and won. Then he got to Florida and won. Then he goes to USC. Now he never won big, but hell,
he went to Southern Cal?
USC East.
There's only one USC.
Well, South Carolina, yeah.
USC got you. You went to South Carolina. Got you.
South Carolina. He went there and yeah, I should have said the Cox. My bad.
I'm just saying, bro.
I mean, so
what? So, are you discrediting Urban Meyer taking Utah?
I mean, Utah's not Duke. Utah's had a better run than Duke has had.
Yeah, but Urban took like Utah to a.
And he did it at Bowling Green too. So I mean,
but he took him to a New Year's Day bowl game. Yeah. Undefeated. Yeah, that's him. That's how he got the job to Florida.
Spurrier took Duke and beat Tennessee, won the ACC.
Okay.
Like
so do you think it's harder to go undefeated at Utah and play a January 1st bowl game or Duke?
Duke.
Okay, cool. What about Urban at
the schedule?
How about Urban at Bowling Green? How about Urban when he took Florida on that run?
See, that was where I was trying to debate in my head.
Urban got 3 national championships, don't he?
Yeah. See, I think Florida's
Spurrier got
1.
Yeah. So is 3 better than 1 or 3 better than 1?
I don't know. I'm from Mississippi. I don't know. It depends on
that's
here
like
3 quarters, or is it 1?
No. 3 fingers and here goes 1. Which one do you want?
I want 3.
There you go. So this represents Urban. This one represents Steve. So you went with this. So am I. Urban Meyer. Keep it going. Next question.
Urban Meyer. Next question.
Yeah.
I lean Urban. I mean,
you could not do whatever you want to do.
And look, if Urban was smarter and benched Tebow in lieu of Cam Newton, he might have more national titles.
No, he would have had. I mean, listen, that's not the first fumble that Urban had. I never said Urban's the best talent evaluator.
How many?
I just said he's the best coach on steroids.
If Cam doesn't do the laptop thing, all that horse crap,
we don't know that allegedly.
If he stays at Florida, does he?
He still ain't playing them.
Do they win multiple national?
He still ain't playing them, bro.
Yeah,
he ain't playing them. He was there before everyone knew Cam.
Oh yeah, he played mop up duty for a year behind.
Yeah, so Urban. This is the repeated behavior for Urban Meyer. Yeah, Urban had Joe Burrow. You know that, right?
Oh yeah.
And he played JT Barrett. So come on, next.
That's what Spurrier would he have done that? There you go.
Listen.
Do these committees have any representation? I'm about tired of these folks. We talk no. It's horseshit. Some of these people that get picked on these committees, it's crap.
You know who should be. When they were tossing around the question of who should be on the committee for like the presidential committee thing, I had one guy that I would elect. I had one guy.
Who?
Me. Who else in college football in this spectrum can give us from a player's point of view, a coach's point of view, and an exec's point of view?
There you go.
At a high level, me. Like you guys can quote Saban and do all that other stuff. So Saban don't got the culture and got the hood like Smoke got it. I represent the common people.
I will say this: if you have representation on the committee and you're one of the small schools that they've granted that to, and then all of a sudden your small school beats out a bigger school that didn't have the same, it probably should raise some questions. Yes, like
all I'm saying, Pettey, I should be on there and I'll have all this right, man. You guys keep on. You guys want to keep on voting for Saban because the name recognition.
Vote
you guys just do the history of who keeps it a buck with y'all. That's Smoke.
Vote Smoke.
Yeah, vote Smoke. It's real easy.
Next playoff committee, everybody chime in on the Twitters at Coach Smoke.
No, Coach G.V. Dixon. See what I'm saying? Pettey, you only get it right. Come on, man. Right. No underscore.
So long.
Yeah.
All right. Next question.
It's right there, ticking at the bottom. The best college and pro.
I think duo. I think for that did both at the highest level, there's not a debate.
The best college and Jimmy, that ain't bad. I would say yes.
Who did it better on both? Nobody did it better on both levels.
I would say yes.
Some did it better in college. Some did it better in the pros. No did it better than at both.
There's only one other coach that's won a national championship and a Super Bowl, and that'll be Barry Switzer.
Barry Switzer.
No, and I'm sorry. No, I'm off. I am so wrong. Barry did it. Jimmy did it. Pete did it.
But Pete built it his own. Barry did it in the aftermath of what Jimmy left him.
Hey man, Pettey.
He did it though. There
you go. That's the only one. That's the only one that I know. I don't know anybody else.
And so did Pete. Pete didn't do it as much as Jimmy in the NFL. He did it more in the college.
Pete won. Is it one Super Bowl?
One Super Bowl.
Yeah, and he won how many? He won one national championship.
I thought USC won. They didn't win 3. They won 2, and they were going for 3 in a row, right?
I thought they lost to
I thought they were
Texas.
going for the three-peat when Texas.
They won the year. They split it 1 year. I thought Pete only got one.
He may have. So then, yeah, it's Jimmy Johnson.
I mean, either way, I would have let Jimmy. Jimmy won. Jimmy only won one in college, right?
God, that's what I'm going to have to go back when he was at Miami.
I thought Howard won one, Jimmy won one,
and then Dennis won the. What did Dennis
win one, and so did Larry. And Larry won another. I don't know if Miami has 5 champions. I thought they only had 4.
Shit, this may be a better debate. But Switzer had 1 in each.
So the only angle that I can say is Barry won with Jimmy's team. Like Jimmy handed it off to him.
He did.
Right? But either way, they won. So we're not going to move the goalposts. Barry won at Oklahoma. Barry won with the Cowboys. Jimmy won with Miami, and he also won with the Cowboys. The question is, the best college and pro coach, Jimmy Johnson, thumbs up. If I had to pick one, I would take Jimmy first, Pete second, Barry Switzer a distant third.
I would not disagree. I like to disagree with my man Smoke, and I'm not going to because I agree 100% on that one.
Now, you're just trying to get back to your drinks.
No, I agree with that. I think it's Jimmy. Look, man, I think Jimmy was the secret sauce, and I know that him and Jones had their egos were bigger than their hairdos, but man, what Jimmy was able to build in that early 90s with that Cowboys team was I mean, that was Jimmy's mind that called those draft. You know,
I'm gonna say a combination of both because we haven't seen Jimmy couldn't replicate that in Miami.
No, he couldn't.
No, so I'm gonna say a combination of 2.
Yeah, I like it. Not trying to get back to drink Smoke. This is one time I do agree with you, my brother.
Hey man, you're smarting up. Come on.
Next question. Let's see, Ken Affey. So you was a big Genty fan then, Smoke?
No, I don't like small people. Next. No. Let's jump on that. Justin sent me something this week. Good player.
Was that our group that you sent that to, Justin? The deal with out of Jacksonville that. Man, they might be some buyer's remorse on their first round pick because who's
buyer's remorse on Jacksonville?
Yeah,
they're fine. I mean, what are they gonna do? Trade him in for who? Genty? Listen, bro.
A bigger model.
Here's my running back.
A bigger model of the Travis Hunter they got.
Here's my bigger spiel. Okay, I don't care if Ashton Genty rushes for 3,000 yards. Unless you are ready for a Super Bowl run and you are where the Philadelphia Eagles were last year, that's the only time that you take a running back in the top 10. We've seen Adrian Peterson go to the Minnesota Vikings and get him close. Didn't happen. Ashton Genty and Adrian Peterson. Mm-mm. So, irregardless of who we think the Superman is, he's a good football player. That's it.
And you know, and if you're going to take a gamble on a kid from a school that size, and it's a name you really close to your heart, Smoke, you've got to know that you're getting the next Marshall Faulk. If you're gonna take that risk.
Even with Marshall, you know what happened to Marshall, right? Marshall got drafted by who?
The Colts.
You know what happened to Marshall to win the Super Bowl?
He had to get traded to the Rams.
There you go. So.
Yeah, but I mean, you still got to. I mean, he was still Marshall at the Colts. They knew he was special.
I'm not. Marshall was dynamic as heck, but they traded and got rid of him. Got Adrian. Adrian comes in, but Adrian had Peyton. Adrian had Reggie. Adrian had Marvin. He had Dallas Clark. He had Freeney on the other end. He had Booger McFarland, Cato June, Bob Sanders. So long story short, he ain't winning no Super Bowl by himself, man.
I definitely agree. You take the known commodity. But
I'd rather I'm not paying Josh Jacobs either. It's not worth it. Sorry. Running back's a dime a dozen. Until you're ready to make that run, they ain't no factor. You're not going to get the best out of them.
No.
It's a bad investment. It's like investing in rims, and the rim's worth more than your car and driving it in Detroit, and there's a bunch of potholes. Every time you run over one, you're going to have to bang it out. Bad investment. Grow up.
You know what's not a bad investment, Smoke? Spending your time with me and you on a Monday night.
So we're at the end.
We actually went longer than we said. We were going to do a quick one, but man, our crowd came out. They had the grills fired up, and I guess they said we need a little Smoking Petty in our life. So
in order to have a Memorial Day, you must smoke Petty.
I can't. That's it.
That's it.
And you must hit that like and subscribe so you will get the alert when who's coming to say. I think one of
my classmate, arguably, you know what? Forget arguably, the best center in the era. We're not counting Dwight Stevenson and all those guys that I didn't see play. But if I had to line up one center, and my man Caldwell, you're in this.
Oh yeah,
everyone's in this. Dickerson, you're in this. I'm putting my man Alonzo Ephraim, aka Mike Lowry, and we'll get to the reason why we call him Mike Lowry tomorrow. Mike Lowry. Right?
I gotta hear. I can't wait to hear that.
Man, listen, you're gonna have to pull up. Most of the nicknames in Alabama when I was there, I might know the guy that gave him that. Ray Hudson. Rest in paradise, my good brother. He was slick.
Were you the nickname giver? Were you the?
Yeah, that's me. My man Antoine Odom, aka Adabisi. Yeah, that was me.
So we get
Herschel Bolden, aka Cool Whip.
Well, we're gonna have to learn these stories and more. So you hit that like and subscribe. Tune in tomorrow night. We got Alonzo Ephraim from. As according to Smoke, outside of the Saban classes, the best.
Man, put Saban class in there. He busting them dudes up too. Wrong with y'all? Y'all think we scared of Saban's crew? Come on, bro. Line them up.
There you go. Come back tomorrow. We got more Smoke coming to you on the Bama Standard. Follow us. Where can we find you, son? Here, tell them where to get you, Smoke.
Man, at Coach GV Dixon. Take that one of those G's out. At Coach GV Dixon. Listen, I got some good content going out there. I might be going through the GOAT running backs in college football history. Check that out.
Oh no, okay.
Yeah. The final came between, I ain't even gonna say it, but Sean was on there, Derrick Henry's on there, Marshall Falk was on there, Barry Sanders was on there, Reggie was on there. They ain't put my man Shady on there, but Shady should be on there. And then I did the GOAT receiver, Julio, Smitty, Calvin. The one that I left off was Peter Ward, but we'll get another edition going.
Good stuff.
Might have to do a little TikTok, Justin. Get ready.
Hey, man. So, hey, man. Week's just getting started. Get fired up on those socials. Get fired up on the Bama Standard. Get fired up with us tomorrow night as Alonzo Ephraim comes in and Justin keeps all of us rowdy guys in line. But again, more than anything, thank you, veterans, for this day. I can't say any more than that. If it's not for your veterans,
go enjoy Smoking Petty tonight.
That's Smoking Petty tonight. We're going to end on this. We're not going to roll to the veterans. Go roll. Go do your thing. Thank you. God bless.